morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you happen to be watching this week's video. Y'all, you know I'm going to give you a little story time before we go forward. I have made up my mind after last week when I had an incident with my sciatic nerve doing its thing. Y'all, that I have decided that I am not going to be getting old out here and trying to be hurt and all this kind of stuff. And y'all like, Patrice, you can't control that. I will age gracefully and be able to have all mobility and flexibility after last week. Because let me tell y'all, when on the 4th of July, I was inpatient first, trying to get relief like won't nobody else relief. So Tuesday morning, I did my thing. I was doing burpees off of a step bench, an aerobic step bench, because y'all know that's the crave on the Instagram and everything like that. So I'm up there, hopped on the box, hopped off the box, landed into a burpee wrong. And as a fitness professional, I should have known not to keep going. But what did I do? I took my shoes off and said, let me press a little bit further. And let me see if it feels different from this angle, right? So I took my shoes off because normally I do step down in my home gym without my shoes on. And I hopped up, I hopped down, I kept pressing. And then by the time I had finished my 30-minute workout, my back was not giving, y'all. It was just not giving. And let me get to a certain point, and then by Thursday, that thing was locked the freak up. Like, you talk about glutes engaged for 2 days, and that's not what you want. So by the time I'm begging and helping, get my whole family to help me get up the steps, and my husband had to take me to the patient first, and thank God for modern medicine. Thank you for the tools. Thank you for the resources to release. Come on. Release them engaged glutes so that they could actually be kind of normal. And I just been resting and taking it easy since then. But when I talk about I hated sitting, I hated standing for too long because everything was locked up. My quads were tight. Like, it just was unbearable pain, like excruciating pain. You literally could see that one side was higher than the other. I was going on a slope, y'all. It was not good. And you probably like, why is she telling us? First of all, you don't ever want your glutes that engaged ever again. Number two, this really is tied to audit-proofing your business and your life. What? Patrice, how does your glutes being engaged got to do with my business or my life? I'm going to break it down for you. All right? When you are in position, right, and you can land the way you're supposed to, you have the right equipment, you have the right tools, you have stretched, you have flexibility, you have mobility, you have drank your water, you have eaten your nutrients before you go into anything, right? Some of us aren't always in this situation. But when it comes to that from accounting and tax side, what allows us to do that equivalent of being ready and having all the right equipment would be having a place to store your receipts, making sure that you're recording your transactions the correct way, making sure that you know if you got something off of Amazon that you can go pull up that receipt, or that you bought something for your business in your business Amazon versus something in your personal. When you go to the store and you put that little bar in between, because while you're at the store, you may be getting some stuff for you personally versus actually getting stuff for you for your business, that you separate the two so that the transactions are clear, and that when you come out and you swipe the cards, you are swiping a business card for all business transactions and a personal card for all personal transactions, and the two never shall meet. And you'll be able to reconcile those things when you go to make sure you know how much money is at the end of the month or month at the end of the money. Depends on how it is, because cash flow be cash flowing, and sometimes it don't flow very far. So I say all that to say all of that is related to audit proofing. Well, what is audit proofing, Patrice? You took us on this story about you not doing burpees properly and you still pushing forward regardless. Sometimes, y'all, we have to draw a line in the sand and we need to stop pushing forward. Sometimes we have to say, you know what, enough is enough. I need to figure out what's coming in. I need to figure out what's going out. I need to figure out where it is. And if they ever were to ask me or send me some correspondence, and them letters are going to start coming like rapid fire from either the state or the IRS, the federal government, right? I want to be able to get to a point where I can actually support that information. Well, how do I have that? What's my system? Where am I storing it? Do I have everything that happened in some of the documentation? So for me, that's why I ask you all the questions that I ask for my tax clients. That's why my organizer is as lengthy as it is. Okay? Some of y'all, that's why I told you to relabel the name of the documents, because now it's easy for either one of us to identify what support I have versus what support I don't have if you're working with us to help you address an audit letter, right? So most of our clients are, if they get a notice, they give it to us. We come up with a solution. We help them by documenting the correspondence, getting all our support and documentation to refute, right? Or support our position. Sometimes refuting sounds so contentious, right? Supporting our position in the game. And so I have a system built to assist my clients, right? I actually have a system for myself to be able to, okay, if somebody asks me for that, where's that? Oh, I know where that's located. I know how to put my whole story together, cross-reference it, and say, okay, I see this, but there's some additional information you may not have to get to that position, okay? So you're always going to want to be able to refute. That's probably the best way to say it. You're going to want to refute the amounts if you don't agree with them, or the position that someone is taking if you don't agree with them. And so the best way to do that is, you know, in the culture, they be like, boo, show the receipts. And that's really where it's coming from. Where them receipts at? How you documenting it? How are you proving your case? And so the whole audit proofing process is the system that you are creating to protect yourself before the people ever come. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. It's the system that you are creating for yourself to protect you before the people ever come. This is a proactive stance. We are taking a proactive stance when we are audit proofing things, right? So like when you baby proofing, you want to make sure everything there so the baby don't bump their head and they hit the rubber thing and you're not stretching out your clothes, all the things. You should be able to do these same things when it comes to your financial positioning. And not only are you looking at that way, because you want to, let's say somebody run your credit card and you want to refute that position and be like, hey, I didn't authorize that transaction. That's not something that should have happened. Well, you're going to make sure you're going to be like, y'all going to have to get my coins back. This is not working. That's a mentality we need to have. We all need to be proactive, and we need to be in a stance where we are knowing what is going to be acceptable and what's not going to be acceptable when it comes to audit proofing things for our position. And so, as I told you before, happy July. We are here. We are here. We are here. I just wanted to use that analogy of making sure that you know you have the right tools. For me, when it came to that patient first thing, honey, it was the shot and then muscle relaxers, right? To help me realize, hey, when I was resting and I was stretching and I was using the massage gun and I was trying to act like, my family was trying to act like they was chiropractors and they ain't got no license. We doing all the things, but were those the right things, or did we make things worse? We could have made that so much worse, right? I could have been in excruciating pain that I could not have come back from. And that's the same thing that can happen with your finances. If you are not coming up with a system, if you are not developing a plan, and even when you realize that you've been stuck, if you're not working with somebody who can assist you, saying, you know what, this is beyond my control. This is out of my swim lane. I need somebody to help me put a system together so that if something does come, I feel prepared, I feel confident that the person that I'm working with allows me to work through that and will help me shape the position so that even if I do owe, it may not be as much as they say I owe, because I can actually put my story together to support my portion versus what they're saying, and I can be in a solid position to be able to refute my position, stand 10 toes down on where I am. If I got to stroke a check, I ain't gonna stroke the check for the whole amount, because I will have enough support unless, let me go back on that, unless I'm required to. Like if it comes out that, yeah, I do owe that money, then go and stroke them coins so we can stop that interest and penalties. But if I don't, I don't want to pay extra for something that I'm going to have to feel bad, because in my gut, I know that I don't owe what they say I owe. So hopefully that makes sense for y'all this week. Next week, We're going to be talking about some good tools, some good resources that we can use to put us in a good position. Till next week, peace.